we will start the capital investment decisions. Right. So this is something you are familiar with already. Right. You know there are certain decisions which need to take which require relatively significant amount of fund, right? Significant amount of investment. And once you take this decision, it is very difficult to reverse that decision. And it will generate benefit in the long run, right? Over a long period, right? At least like 5 years, 10 years, like that. So these type of decisions are known as capital investment decisions. So these capital investment decisions, long-term investment decisions, main features are it requires significant amount of fund. And once you take the decision, it's difficult to reverse it. Then you have to implement, go ahead with that. And it will have a long-term consequences to this. As a result, the capital investment decision should be taken with some serious concern by carefully evaluating. Before taking the decision, you have to carefully evaluate the relevant project. So as a result, we use so many techniques, tools in making the capital investment decision. Like you may have learned, right? Accounting rate of return, payback period, net present value, internal rate of return, IRR, different tools. So we will mainly focus on the net present value, which is the highly used technique in capital investment decision. Right. Now here, this capital investment decision also called investment appraisal. Right? Investment appraisal. Investment capital investment decision. So which techniques are used by CEOs for evaluating investment projects? This was a research carried out somewhere in 2000, global research. They have identified in the long run project, 75% of the CEOs are using NPV. And IRR also, like 76%. So those are two main techniques. Even though the payback is a very simple term, like simple technique, but payback means payback. Now you invest 10 million in a project. So then, how do you define the payback?
Take to cover the.
Yes, how long it will take to recover that 10 million from the cash flows generated from the project. Net cash flow generated from the project. It's a simple technique, but and anyone can understand the concept. What is the meaning of it? Right? When you invest in a project, 10 million rupees, how long it will take to recover your investment from the net cash flow generated from the project? So what are the payback period is paid? Net present value. When you invest 10 million, that's your cash outflow. And you take how much net cash inflow generated from the project over the project period, say 5 years. When you take the net cash inflows over the 5 years, that is 15 million. But that 15 million occurs over 5-year period. So you can't take the cash inflows 15 million and outflows 5 million, because outflow occurred today, inflows occurred in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Right? Say 3 million each year, 15 million. So you can't net off 10 million and 15 million because the cash flows are occurred in different time intervals, different time period. So then what we have to do? We take the present value of those future net cash flows. Yes, it is 15 million, 3 million, 3 million, 3 million, 3 million, or 5 million. But 3 million received in year 1 and 3 million received in year 2 are not the same. You know that. Right? So you have to discount, we take it to present value. When you calculate the present value of that 15 million, then that's become 12 million after discounting. Then today you spend 10 million, present value of net cash inflow is 12 million. So the net present value is 10 million outflow and 12 million inflow, 2 million positive net present value, right? Net present value. So the net present value, the general guideline is if a project generates positive net present value, that means you will get more than what you are investing, right? So that increase you can call that is addition to the wealth of the shareholder. The positive NPV project we can recommend to accept. If a project generates negative NPV, then we don't recommend them to accept the negative NPV project. That means present value of net cash outflows are more than present value of the net cash inflow. What is IRR? Internal rate of return. IRR. Can you see the IRR? When you plot NPV in a diagram under different discounting rate, you know when the discounting rate increases, net present value decreases. Same cash flows. When you calculate NPV using 10% discount rate, if you are getting 10 million NPV. Right now, in this example, 10% discounting factor, your NPV is about 1.2 million. But when you increase the discounting factor to 20%, your NPV may be 400,000. When the discounting factor increases, then what happens? NPV value increases. Right? Higher discount rate means over the period value of money decreases significantly, right? Your cost of capital is high. So you have discounted higher. So therefore, when you so you can have a diagram like this. Same cash flows, you can plot the NPV at different discount rate. So there is a point where NPV becomes zero. The discounting factor at which NPV becomes zero is named as IR, internal rate of return. That means that is the minimum return that investor expect from this particular project. To be worthwhile a project, right? If the project generate, this is the expected rate of return, right? So basically IRR, say 28%. This is the percentage that NPV becomes zero, right? So that means when you calculate IRR of a project, which the IRR, here IRR become 28%, right? At 28% discount rate, NPV. Now, is this project investors' expected rate of return is only 20%? Then that means you will end up with a positive NPV or negative NPV. We discount cash flows using an investor's expected rate of return. That's the cost of capital. Expected rate of return. The minimum expected rate of return equals the cost of capital. You learn in finance, right? So a project gives you IRR 28%. But expected rate of return of a particular project is 20%. That means you have to discount this project cash flows using 20%. That means it will be ended up with positive NPV or negative NPV. Looking at this diagram, you can say. Yes. IRR is 28%. Investors' expected rate of return is 20%. Using that, we should discount the cash flows of the project. So we will end up with positive NPV. That means when IRR is greater than expected rate of return of investor, we can accept the project because it will end up with positive. Right. So your IRR is 28%. According to the investors' expectation, they need 30% return. Their minimum expected rate of return is 30% because their cost of capital is high. Right? And considering other factors, risk of the project high, we are expecting 30% return. That means when you discount the project cash flows using 30%, your NPV somewhere here, right? Here you take the 30%. That means you ended up with negative NPV. So you should not accept the project. What that means? If IRR of the project is less than investors' expected rate of return, you should reject that. That is the decision making. NPV decision making point, NPV positive accept, negative reject. Similarly, IRR, you have compared with the expected rate of return of investor, which is equal to cost of capital. Right? Minimum expected rate of return of investor equal to cost of capital. So, I cost capital cost cost of capital risk factors consider. So, the expected rate of return 30%, IRR 28% means you ended up with negative NPV, so do not accept it. When IRR is 28, where the expected rate of return of investor is 20%, that means you will end up with positive NPV here. You can recommend accept the project. So this is how we evaluate the project based on IRR. You compare IRR against expected rate of return of investor. If IRR is greater than expected rate of return, බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවට වඩා return එකක් දෙන්න. 28. බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ 20%. So you can go ahead with the loan. But there is a main limitation of IRR. IRR can be, there can be 2 IRR per project. Two IRR. So when you plot a project like this, it can be initially negative. Then it becomes positive, then again it becomes here. Find 2 IRR here, 3.5 and 19.5. Right. This is applicable for a project with non-conversion cash flows. Right. That means unusual cash flow pattern. Conventional cash flow means you initially spend some amount for a project. Year 0, cash outflow. Thereafter, you will expect net cash inflows. Right? If you take a project like that, you can have a NPV line like this. So you will get 1 IR, no issue. Right? For most of the project, this is applicable. So that is why IR is highly used by CEOs here. Right? Because you find conventional cash flows in most of the project. You can have the NPV diagram like this. You can have 1 IR. But you should know there can be a situation, the NPV curve in this shape, where then there are 2 points it intersect the x-axis, where NPV becomes 0. This is possible when, okay, initially in the first year we have a cash outflow 10 million. Year 0 cash outflow 10 million. Year 1 cash inflow 3 million. Year 2 cash inflow 4 million. Year 5 cash inflow 8 million. Year 4 again net cash outflow 6 million. Something like that. So in between the project period, there is a particular year you will have net cash out. In such situation, you will get this. एक प्रोजेक्ट एक प्रोजेक्ट देखा कंबाइन मिला वाली मुलिंग याना कैश इनिशियल कैश आउटफ्लो लगे इनफ्लो टिका क्या मिला අතරම දාවුත් එක ලොකු කැෂ් අවුට්ෆ්ලෝ එකක්. ඒක අර යවුත් ඉන්නොත් එක්සිට් කරනවා. ආරණෙක් තියෙනවා පටන් අරන් අවුරුදු කීපයකට පස්සේ ඒක මේජර් අපරි අපි ඇසෙට් එකක් නම් මේජර් ඉනෝවේෂන් එකක් කරන්නේ. මේජර් රිප්ලේස්මන්ට් එකක් කරන්නේ. ඒක ලොකු කොස්ට් එකක්. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක තමයි කාලයක් අවුට් කරනවා. මේ වගේ වෙලාව. මේ වගේ non-conventional cash flow pattern එකක් තියෙන you will find why. IRR ये वගේ වෙලාවක question right. Right. Then sometimes we have to choose between mutually exclusive projects. What is meant by mutually exclusive project? Mutually exclusive. I can remember you learned this from mathematics in grade 8. Mutually exclusive. There are the mutually exclusive events. සිංහලෙන් කියන්නේ අන්‍යෝන්‍ය වශයෙන් බහිස්කාරශීලී. ඒක විතරක් තේරෙන්නේ. What is mean by that? Mutually exclusive. That means connection. Not no connection. No connection means independent. Mutually exclusive. If you select one, there is no possibility of selecting the other. When you take an event, two events cannot take place at once. Just assume that today morning that you have some other event, right? You have a function, right? So if you want to attend there, you can't attend to the lecture. If you attend to the lecture, you can't attend that function. Okay? So attending that function and attending the lecture are mutually exclusive. They come into that. It's come to project. We have we are planning to install a new manufacturing plant to the business. There are two types of manufacturing plant, plant A and plant B. But within our factory, you can install either plant A or plant B. When you are evaluated to take the decision, if you the plant A also will give positive NPV, plant B also give positive NPV. Right? Plant A IRR also greater than expected rate of return, plant B also greater than expected rate. So if you compare independently both the worthwhile, but you can't accept both because you can only install one machine. When you take purchasing one of these two machine A and B as a project, those two are mutually exclusive. Right? Mutually exclusive. So here you are given project D and E. Project D 10,000, E 20,000. Here 0 cash inflow. Here 1 cash outflow. Here 1 cash inflow. 20 and 35. It's a very simple example only. First year outflow and year 0 outflow and inflow. So you're given IRR 100% and 75%. NPV at 10%. Positive NPV. Right? එතකොට දැන් මෙතනදී අපේ decision එක ගනිද්දී initial cash outflow එක සමාන නැහැ. Right? ඒ නිසා අපිට පුළුවන් incremental basis එකෙන් බලන්න. Right? Instead of D, if you go for C, you have additionally spent 10,000. And it will generate additional cash inflow 20 to 35, 15,000. So incremental cash flow basis, IRR is 50% and we have positive NPV. So still that is above the expected rate of return and you have positive NPV. So you better go for E. Incremental basis is right? But there are other ways of evaluating this type of project. We will discuss them in detail. Now this is the main appraisal method here. When the firm should accept, now theoretically, positive NPV project means that will give some, that will create increase in the wealth. Positive NPV means if you accept a positive NPV project, shareholders' wealth will be increased. So when you go ahead to shareholders' wealth maximization objective, you can recommend all positive NPV projects should be accepted, assuming that there are no other non-financial constraints, right? No other non-financial factors could affect adversely. So positive NPV project you can accept. But practically, business may not be able to accept all positive NPV projects because of the resource limitation. We may not have money to invest in all positive NPV projects. Right? That is called capital ratio. Right? Capital ratio means that business do not accept positive NPV projects because of resource limitation. Then you have different projects. Now here, project D 10,000 initial out. Project E 20,000 initial out. And positive NPV of project A, project E 8,000, project D 8,000, project E 11,000. Now which project you should invest? You can't accept both projects. Right? Both projects. Even though both projects are giving the positive NPVs. And assume they are not mutually exclusive also. Not mutually exclusive. It's like you are evaluating to open new branches. You are currently located at Colombo. You are planning to start a new branch, one at Galle. Right, other one at Candy. You are start new branch at Galle, it require 10 million initial outflow, Candy 20 million. And your NPV is Galle 8,000, 8 million, Candy 11 million. But you don't have other resources like employees, you don't have even production, your products to be made available at Candy and Colombo. Then you have some other limitation. Right? A Nisa, resource factor Nisa, you have to select only one. Those are not mutually exclusive. But if we have resources, we can increase the production, right? The demand is there, you can open the two branches. But at this particular point, distant point, you can't open the branch at Candy as well as goal at once. Right? ඒ point එකේ mutual exclusive වගේ කියන අපි අපි එතන mutual exclusive කියන වචනේ පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. Mutual exclusive කියන්නේ by nature you can't implement the code. Right? Resources තිබුණත් දැන් අර factory එකට plant දෙකම install කරන්න බෑ. අපි අපේ production එකට right? So අපි plant A and B two different technologies. අපි එක technology එකක් තෝරගන්න. Like mutually exclusive. එකක් තෝරගත්තොත් අනිත් එක give up කරන්න වෙනවා. right? එහෙම දේවල් තියෙනවනේ. A level කරන්න ඔකට stream එකක් තෝරගන්න. ඒක කොමර්ස් කරාට තෝරගන්න පුළුවන් ඔයගලන්ට. ඒක physical science කරන්න මේක give up කරන්න. physical science තෝරගත්තොත් ගන්න ළමයි සමහර වෙලාවට medical science पे, right? give up करो, मतलब commerce management factor give up करो, तो एक mutually exclusive. आधे कभी लाभ इस बोले maths पाती है, commerce पाती है, bio पाती है, तो है mutually exclusive. मतलब आप कथा कर रहे हैं you have possibility projects, right? But ඕන්න to යන්න පුළුවන්. right? මේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් වලම ගන්න පුළුවන්. with resource limitation. ඒකට A level class එකකට ඔයගොල්ලෝ යනකොට අපිට right. හොඳ ගුරුවරු තුන් දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඕන්න තුන් දෙනාටම යන්න පුළුවන් තුන් දෙනා ක්ලාස් තියෙන එකම වෙලාවෙ. ක්ලාස් තියෙන එකම වෙලාවෙට මියුටුලේෂන්. right? ඒ ක්ලාස් තියෙන වෙලාව වල කොහොමද කරන්නේ? හැබැයි ඔයාට ගෙදරින් සල්ලි දෙනවා. right? එක පන්තියට ක්ලාස් ෆීස් දෙන්න. ඔයාලට තෝරන්න වෙනවා which one? Betul. එතනදී මේ කතා කරන්නේ right. එකට ක්ලාස් P එක 2000යි අනිත් එකේ 3000යි අනිත් එකේ 5000යි. So we have projects different initial cash out. Initial cash outflow different. If the same initial cash outflow you can determine based on the PV. Right? Machine A 10 million, machine B 10 million, machine C 10 million. You calculate NPV of the all three machines. Highest positive NPV you can sell. Right? But here you compare the two project NPV 8 million and 11 million. Take 60,000. So you cannot take the decision by looking at E because E is higher. Because initial cash outflow is different. When you are evaluating two projects with different initial investment, initial cash outflow, we use this simple formula, profitability index. NPV divided by initial investment. So relative to the investment, how much NPV? If you can take that in these two projects, 8 divided by 10,000, E profitability index would be 0.8. But E 11 divided by 20 means 0.55, something like 56. Right? Well, what the profitability index is 8,182 divided by 10,000, 0.81. Then the other one, $11,818 divided by 20,000. 0.59. Now, when you consider the profitability index, based on profitability index, you can select project D. Right? If you don't have resources to invest in both projects, then you should go for project D, because relative to the investment, it generates higher positive NPV. Like as a percentage, 0.81, but E 0.59. Both are positive NPV project. If both are independent, then you ask, do you accept? E. If both are mutually exclusive also, you accept E. Right? That will give you relatively higher positive NPV, higher incremental NPV. Right? But you have resource limitation, you can use this additional 20,000 for some other projects. Right? So when they get about opportunities, you know, you have to go ahead with the profitability. And then I'm going to 10 and 20. You have this. That is the difference, but not that significant. Double level, right? Practically. Get a Samana alternative, but different capital cash out. So you have to determine based on profitability. This profitability. NPV divided by investment. Now here you are given 4 projects A, B, C, D. Right? Initial cash outflow 10, 5, 5. D 0. Even at the end of C1 color, the C period, right? Time period T 35, 5 minus 40, then 5, 20, 15. So you are given the NPV. So NPV divided by initial cash outflow to get the profitability index. මෙතන අපිට කියනවා අපිට තියෙනවා ඉන්වෙස්ට් කරන්න 10 million rupees. දැන් අපිට ඔප්ෂන් තියෙනවානේ. අපිට 10 million නම් ස්පෙන්ඩ් කරන්න තියෙන ඇත්තටම project B එක out. කොහොමද? Because it requires 40 million. Right? Practically, when you are evaluating alternative, you identify the project B also. But when you take the information, right, so that needs 40 million. So that is out of reach. Your resources are limited to 10 million. So you can either accept project A, project B, and even B and C are possible. Right? So they can manage that. Then on profitability index, NPV calculated. Absolute NPV value right? Well, 21. A but A got to A is 2.1. B 3.2, C 2.4. So make rank project 1, project B the first, C2, A3. Your resources limitation, resources are limited to 10 million. So you can accept B and C. You can accept project B and C. This is basically how much NPV you get per 1 rupee you spend. Right? Profitability index is that. So project A, for 1 rupee you spend, you are getting 2 rupee and 10 cents NPV. Project B, for 1 rupee you spend because you spend 5 NPV 16. Right? Say million. So then for 1 rupee you spend, you are getting 3 rupee and 20 cents. Project C, 1 rupee you spend, 2 rupee and 40 cents. You can rank. Then with the capital restriction, you can determine which project to be selected. Right? The outcome is the business branches open කරන්න හදනවා ලංකාව පුරා. ඒගොල්ලෝ බලනවා right. Branches 10ක් විතර opportunities තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ 100 million resource allocation. එක branches වලට එකකින් cost එක යනවා. Right? එනවා NPV calculate කරලා profitability index එකෙන් බලන්න පුළුවන් you can rank. ඒ අනුව තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ කියන්නේ branch 4ක් දානවද 5ක් දානවද 6ක් දානවද 3ක් දානවද කියන අර 100 million cover වෙන්න highest profitability index base කරලා you can take it. Yeah. This is the important when you have so many positive NPV projects, but you have a fund restriction to accept all the projects. So the capital rationing limit the set of amount of fund available for investment. ඒක capital rationing ක්‍රම දෙකකට යන්න පුළුවන්. Soft rationing කියන්නේ management එක decide කරනවා right. අපිට තියෙන්නේ fund මෙච්චරයි. 100 million තමයි අපි පරිම allocate කරන්නේ. right. fund කියන්නේ කොහොමද කරව කරන්න පුළුවන්. But organizations have a capital budget normally. So you plan, this is our capital budget for the day. So according to that, for the capital investment decision, we are allocating only 100 million. Branches open, we allocate 100 million. Positive 100 million limited. Right? The management imposed by management, considering other resources also, right? Hard rationing means imposed by unavailability of the funds in the capital market. Management is capital market එකේ fund. ඒක අපිට ඕන වුණාට අපිට rebate issue කරාට investors ලා නැහැ. Capital market එක පැත්තෙන් ඉනවා restriction. Right? ඒක rare situation. දැන් ලංකාව expose කරන්නේ. දැන් අපිට project එකක් open කරද්ද capital rationing කියනවා hard rationing. Hey, lenders ලා ලංකාවට ණයද. ඊට අවුරුදු 10කට කලින් ලංකාවට ඕන තරම් projects implement කරන්න පුළුවන්කම තිබුණා. ඒක ඉතින් ඕන තරම් ණය අරගෙන project කරා. right. අද ලංකාව business එකක් විදිහට ගත්තා. දැන් positive NPV project එකක් ආවා. hard rationing තියෙන එළියේ fund එක එනවාද restriction එක market එකේ restriction එකෙන් තමයි තීරණය කරන්න වෙන්නේ. whether we can go ahead with the project. Right? Right. Then we will focus on the NPV because the NPV is the highly used technique in decision making project evaluation. Right? That IRR and probability index mutual exclusivity. So I'm taking this NPV and we are going to work out some major activity. So these are some general guidelines regarding NPV. Only cash flow is relevant. I think you are aware of that. Net present value calculation, we consider only the cash flow. Always estimate cash flows on incremental basis. When you accept a particular project, how much increase in the cash flow because of accepting this project? Incremental basis. උදාහරණයක් අපි දෙමු. business එකේ දැක්ක තියෙනවා administrative cost එකක් 5 million every month. Right? If you accept this project, you have to recruit new supervisors, new staff, As a result, this administrative fixed cost increased to 7 million. Earlier 5 million, now 7 million. So when you are evaluating the new project, NPV calculation, you should not get the administrative cost 7 million. You have to take the additional 2 million income, right? Incremental cost. Be consistent with the treatment for inflation. Now, normally, I hope that up to now, what you have studied, ignoring the inflation, cash flows not adjusted for the inflation, discounting factor also not adjusted for the inflation. But if the cash flows is given, inflation adjusted, discounting factor also should be inflation adjusted. Right? Then, separate investment and financing decision. So when we are evaluating the project, we do not worry about how to finance it. Right? The financing decision is something else. So we assume basically all the projects are funded either equity or from the weighted average cost of capital of the firm. Right? Even though we are planning to have a specific borrowing. Right? Because that is a financing decision that is separate. That is why we do not consider the finance cost as a cash flowing NPV evaluation. You don't take interest. Right? Capital investment decision and capital all right. We want to purchase a plant for 10 million. To purchase this, once you purchase this plant, you need the installation cost 1 million. Right? That you need an additional working capital 1 million. This will generate net cash inflows for every year, right? 3 million for next 5 years. End of the 5 years, you can sell the plant for 1.5 million. Likewise, you will be given information. And if you are given, okay, to fund this project, we are going to obtain a loan from the bank. And the bank loan, you have to pay interest at 12%. You don't take that interest as a cash flow. Right? Or later reflect whenever cost of capital again, discounting factor. Our project එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා ඒකට වෙන finance cost එකක් දීලා තිබුණා ඒක අපි ඒකට වෙනස් කරන්නේ නැහැ. Right? Normally, finance decision separate. So here we focus on investment decision. We have managing finance. The financial management subject is it Excel. Excel. You know, collective data, right? So basically, you know that there is a financing decision, right? Okay. So only cash flow are relevant. Cash flow are relevant. NPV depend on future cash flows. Difference between cash received and payout. That is the net cash flow, right? Do not confuse cash flows with accounting income. Now, sometimes, especially activities, your practical scenarios, you may be given accounting profit, expect accounting profit. You need to convert it into accounting profit is American or cash flow. Obtain accounting income, cash flows, accounting adjustments. Accountant adjusts in 2 ways. So the profit earned rather than when firm get paid. So cash outflow 2 categories, capital expenses, do not deduct, but depreciate we deduct. Current expenses, recurring expenses deduct when calculating the current income, not the cash flow, accrual basis. Right? Profit එක හොයද්දී capital expenditure අඩු කරන්නේ නැහැ. Asset එකක් ගත්තට ඒ profit එක අඩු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ වෙනුවට depreciation අඩු. අනිත් පැත්තට expenses periodical expense ගන්නකොට accrual basis ගන්න, whether it is paid or not. Right? But for the NPV calculation, this is you know, right? We have to consider the cash flow. The capital, the right? The machine එක maintain කරන්න නැත්නම් මේකට අලුතෙන් part එකක් add කරන්න ඕන spare part එකක් අවුරුදු 3කට පස්සේ ඒක cash outflow. ඒක ඉවරට ගන්න. profit එකට ගන්න නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක asset එකට add වෙනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So capital expense, record capital expenses when it is occurred. To determine cash flows from income, add back the depreciation and deduct the capital expenditure. ඒක අපිට profit එක දීලා තියෙනවා. cash flow එක convert කරන්න profit එකේ අඩු කරපු depreciation add back කරන්න. profit එකේ අඩු කරලා නැති capital expenditure තියෙනවා project එකට දාලා. ඒක අඩු කරන්න. negative cash. And the working capital, the difference between short-term current assets and liabilities. Right? There is a fund required to run the business, run the project basically. The working capital is required for the capital investment. Most common mistake with working capital that don't take, right? Someone like innovate the working capital. When they can directly outflow it, they'll pay that. Forgetting working capital entirely. Working capital එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් අමතක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඊළඟට forgetting working capital that may change during the life of the project. සමහර වෙලාවට තියෙනවා දැන් working capital එක year 0 වල 1 million. year 2 වලදී මේක තව පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩි වෙනවා. 1 million ඉඳලා 1.5 million. year 3 වලදී තව මේකට වෙනවා. තව 1 million එකට 2.5 million. සමහර වෙලාවට මේ වෙන්න පුළුවන් මිස්ටේක්ස් තමයි working capital entirely forget වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සම්පූර්ණයෙන් අමතක වෙලා. එහෙම නැත්නම් working capital එකේ increment additionally වෙනස් වෙන එක අපතේ. work වෙලාවට වෙන්න පුළුවන් forgetting the working capital is recovered at upfront. Normally working capital will be available in the business. So that should consider as an inflow end of the. අවසානයේ මේක inflow එකක් විදිහට ගන්න. Then estimate the cash flow on incremental basis. පළවෙනි රූල් එක තමයි අපි ගත්තේ already cash flows ආරෙලා. Rule 2, estimate cash flows on incremental basis. Value of the project depends on all additional cash flows that follow the from the project access. So you have to take incremental additional cash inflows and outflows arising from a particular project. Remember to include the tax. Taxes are expense, so the cash flows should be estimated after tax basis. Here අපිට cash තියෙනවනම් cash එක project tax තියෙනවනම් tax එක project එකේ cash outflow එකක් වෙනවා. ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන් consider කරන්න. Do not confuse the average with incremental fail. Managers do not want to throw good money after bad, but times incremental NPV turnaround is strongly positive. It does not make sense. So basically, you don't consider the past performance, right? It is based on estimated future cash flows, which will increase from the project. Include all incidental impact and make a better. Consider projects effects on remainder of the firm's business. Sometimes when the project business implements some new project, that will increase the revenue of other related projects, or that will reduce loss of contribution, right? Over marketing, you know, cannibalization. Right? Cannibalization කියන්නේ marketing management concept එකක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් revenue introduce new project to the market, existing product demand may decrease. Increasing the new product sales with result of decreasing the existing product. When internally substitute about part. Right? World famous example Honda. Right? Honda introduced Honda Fit car. They can introduce the compete to the Toyota Vitz. Right? Toyota Vitz had a worldwide reasonable sales, so Honda Fit introduced. With so many features. Right? එතකොට ඒකේ අනිත් පැත්තට වෙච්ච දේ තමයි Honda Fit become a competitor to Honda Civic. මොකද Honda Civic එකේ තියෙන features ගොඩාක් Fit එකේ තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මොකද උනේ Honda Fit sales වැඩි වෙනකොට Civic sales අඩු. නේ? මේගොල්ලෝ plan කරේ Toyota Vitz එකට compete කරන්න. මේගොල්ලෝ යම් sales ප්‍රමාණය Toyota Vitz එකේ යම් ප්‍රමාණයක් අඩු වෙන්නේ නැති අනිවාර්යෙන් ඒක නොතිබුණා නම් තියෙන තත්ත්වය. හැබැයි වැඩිපුර ඒකේ නෙගටිව් ඉම්පැක්ට් එක තමයි දෙයා ඕන්. නේ? එහෙම නෝඩ අපිට දැන් හරියට වුණා මේ මාංචිලා. මාංචිලා එකක බිස්කට්ස් රේන්ජ් අලුතින් දාන්න. ඒතර ඒගොල්ලෝ අලුතෙන්ම බිස්කට් එකක් දාපුවාම වෙනද බිස්කට් නොගත්ත කෙනෙක් නෙමෙයිනේ බිස්කට් එක ගන්න. වෙනද සමහරට මාංචිලාගේම වෙන බ්‍රෑන්ඩ් එකක් ගත්ත කෙනෙක් ගිහිල්ලා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අලුත් බිස්කට් රේන්ජ් එක එතන යාලගේ අලුත් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකේ සේල්ස් වැඩි වුණාට එතකොට කැනිබලයිසේෂන් එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒක නිසා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ දැන් තිබුණ වෙන බිස්කට් එක සේල්ස් අඩු. right? or complementary good. right? මේක වැඩි වෙනකොට මේක කම්ප්ලිමන්ට් වෙනවා. මේකත් එක්ක තව එක සේල්ස් එක. right? complementary. අර සුපර් මාකට්ස් වල බේකරි අයිටම්ස් විකුණන්න ගන්න එක. complementary. බේකරි එක පොසිටිවිටි වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒ සෙක්ෂන් එක. ඊට අමතරව බේකරි එක දැනීම නිසා සුපර් මාකට් එකේ normal sales උත් වෙනවා. right? because when you go to supermarket right අපි මොනවා සුපර් මාකට් එකට යනවා නම් අපි බ්‍රෙඩ් ගන්න යනවා කියලා ඒක විතර කරන් ඉන්නේ නැහැ මොකද. ඒතර අනිත් ඒ වගේ sales වෙනවා. දැන් සුපර් මාකට් එකේ ෆාමසියක් දැම්මම right ෆාමසි එකේ සමහර වෙලේ NPV නෙගටිව් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඉතල sales නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන්. However, incrementally increase. So when you are calculating the NPV of the project, you take into consideration of that. මේ project එක worthwhile කියලා evaluate කරද්දී cannibalization effect එකක් ගන්න ඕනේ. right? ඉන්න වෙන sales අඩු වෙනවා නම් ඒක අනිත් පැත්තෙන් complement වෙනවා. Forecast sales today and recognize after sales cash flows come later. ඒ සමහර sales තියෙනවා අපි product එකක් විකුණපුවාම ඒකේ තුනවුරුද්දේ sale එක එනවා. ඊට පස්සේ after sales some maintenance, right? Some kind of so many other income will come. Therefore, you have taken into consideration those other income as well. Incremental cash flows can last for decades. Should therefore be forecast. Service agreement, service and parts, right? Example, vehicle dealer කෙනෙක් ගත්තොත් විකුණන කෙනෙක් ගත්තොත් ඒගොල්ලෝ වාහනයක් විකුණපුවා cash flow එකේ ඉන්නේ වාහනේ විකුණන cash flow එක විතර නෙමෙයි. ඒක අවුරුදු 5ක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ service warranty එක right අවුරුදු 3ක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒ අවුරුදු 3 බොහෝ වෙලාවට warranty period එක ඇතුලේ company එකකින් service එක right leather service income එකක් වෙනවා spare parts income. That is why these Sri Lankan context, these vehicle made dealers, right? Toyota, Nissan, Honda, the companies are still operating. They have to look at the vehicle import restricted. වාහනයක් පත් ඇති වුණාට company එක function වෙනවා. ඒ අලුතෙන් import කරලා distribute නොකර මොකද කලින් sale කරපුවාගේ අනිත් areas function වෙනවා. We have to take into consideration all these categories. Opportunity cost, right? Opportunity cost taken directly. The resources opportunity cost. right? අපි මේ project එක accept කරනකොට we are using some labor, some material which we could have used to produce something else. So that production decreases. There's opportunity cost of resources, right? New manufacturing operating use land would otherwise sold for 10 million. So using the land has an opportunity. අපිට investment property විදිහට ගත්ත land එකක් තියෙනවා. right? අපි කියන්නේ කරනවා ඒකේ factory එකක් දාන්න. Our new project. We are having a land. අපි මේක purchase කරේ 5 million. It is something. But you can sell it for 10 million today. There is an opportunity cost of 10 million. You will not spend anything, right? You have already purchased land, but when you are evaluating the project of starting the factory, you have to consider this opportunity cost of the land 10 million. Right? So cash. So මේ example එක අරන් දීලා තියෙන්නේ right. දැන් මේ project එකට කලින් firm on the land. Project එකකින් පස්සේ firm on the land. Right. Already purchased land. ඉතින් before and after ගත්තොත් cash flow එකක් නැහැ. ඒතකොට incremental basis එකකින් කියලා ගත්තොත් කාටද දෙනවා මේ project එක තිබුණත් cash flow එකක්. නැත්නම් cash flow එකක්. හැබැයි proper comparison එක වෙන්න ඕනේ එහෙම නෙමෙයි. With the project, firm is still on the land. Without the project, you can sell it for 100 million. So the cash outflow without the project, 100 million. So this 100 million become opportunity cost. Right? Then you all aware that we need to forget the sunk cost. We purchased this land for 10 million, which is already incurred. Sunk. Irrelevant in decision making. You can consider it. Beware of allocated overhead cost. Now, normally the overhead cost is allocated to all division of the business. Right? Then when අලුතෙන් project එකක් පටන් ගත්තාම ඒකට overhead cost එක allocated. But that allocated overhead cost is not the relevant. Only include extra expenses that would result from the project. දැන් උදාහරණයක් මම අර කලින් කිව්වා අපි දුන්නේ. Our general administrative overhead cost is 10 million per month. When you accept this project, it will incur additional, the overhead or administrative overhead become 11 million. So relevant cost for the project is 1 million incremental. Right? But sometimes in accounting, when you're calculating the divisional project, if this is a separate division, right? In addition to that 1 million, you will allocate some of the general overhead cost incurred. Because every general administrative provide service for every division. There are 10 million ඇතුලේ කොටසකුත් අපිට allocate වෙනවා නේ. right? Internal, divisional. But that should not be considered for valuation. Right? එතනින් allocate වෙලා ඉන්න cost එක අපිට NPV calculation එක consider කරන්න බෑ. Only the extra cost, additional fixed cost. Then remember the salvage value, right? Salvage value that you can generate, right? By selling the asset end of the project period. Then do not forget the working capital requirement, right? It's additional working capital, current asset minus current liabilities. Usually, project require additional investment in working capital, and that will be inflow end of the project. මේක සාමාන්‍ය දන්න. right inflation එක වෙනම අපි ගමු. ඊට කලින් I am taking this classroom activity. Right. Sigma PLC established company that has continued to be profitable in recent years despite operating below the full capacity. Continued investment in research and development has produced a new innovative product, product A. Market research support the proposed price 400 per unit, which predicted sales over the next 5 years. 400 sales forecast 20,000, 30,000, 35,000, 42,000, 40,000. Company accountant has collected following costing information to the proposal. Research and development cost incurred up to date. What is that? Research and development cost incurred up to date. Cost irrelevant for the city. Additional pre-product development costs. Pre-product development cost we have to incur only if we go ahead with this project. Right? That will be an initial output. Right? Additional. Capital cost of production machinery 6,700. Resale value of machinery after 5 years 300. A 5-year period. So here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So we are not taking this research and development cost, which is sum, irrelevant. Additional pre-production development cost. May additional pre-production development cost figure not to be incurred, right? To be incurred, many, right? Pre-production development cost figure, cash outflow. How much? 800. I am taking ₹1,000. And cost of production machine. 6,700. Here 0 cash outflow. Resale value of machine. That is after 5 years, we can sell this machine for 300. It will be a cash inflow after 5 years. Right. So we consider the first 3 cash flows. Due to additional manufacturing and selling activities, stigma, working capital requirement will increase by 200,000 at start of the project. This is additional working capital. Here 0 200. Right, start 200. It further increased by end of each subsequent year as follows. Now this is very important. With further increased by or it can be given increase to. If it is given increase to, you have to take only the incremental part. Make a පැහැදිලි. ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ කියනවා year 1 200 කියලා. එතකොට may not increase 2 වෙන්න බෑ. නමුත් මේක අපි තුමු 300 400 600 700 තිබ්බා. එහෙම තියෙන්න පුළුවන් increase 2. But here it is more straightforward. Year end of year 1 another 200,000. Increase by 200. So year 1 200. Year 2 300. Another 300. Year 3 400. Year 4 500. So every year it is increased by this amount. Confused කරන්න තුනම පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ 200 නැතුව මේක 300 400 500 වගේ තිබුණා සමහර වෙලාවට 2 ද 5 ද කියන එක අතර කන්ෆ්ලික්ට් එකක් ඇති කරගන්න තිබුණා. මේකේ පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ 200 තියෙනකොට ඔයගලන්ට පේනවා 200 ඉඳලා ආයෙ 200 වැඩි වෙන්න බෑ. increase by right. For example, make a increase 2 key. Right? So, I'm opening 100 here. Increase to 200, 300, 400 here. Very precisely. Here increase by, further increase by this amount. This additional working capital assumed to be recovered. Recover here then. We recovered all this. Automatically recovered. End of the year. It is 1,600 plus year 5. End of the year. Right. Then, manufacturing cost per unit, direct labor, direct material, variable overhead. Per unit variable cost. Rupees 1,000 per annum fixed cost depreciation, amortization of R&D, other fixed cost, selling and distribution. Selling and distribution variable. $25 fixed 300. Right. Then make a variable cost. I will first take variable manufacturing cost 75, 75, 75, 225 per unit. Variable manufacturing cost. $225 per unit. Right? Variable manufacturing cost rupees 225 per unit. This is for your understanding, right? You don't need to write all this, right? Variable. So you are given the number of units to be produced each year, and we are preparing all these in rupees 1,000, right? Rupees 1,000. Here is a year 1 manufacturing cost, variable manufacturing cost, 225 into 20,000, 225 into 20. Year 2, 225 into 30. Year 3, 225 into 35. Year 4, 225 into 42. Year 4, year 5, 225 into 40. The table. Same proportionate, you can have the variable selling cost එකක් තියෙනවා. Variable selling and distribution 25. I am taking that also. Variable selling and distribution cost 25%. Given 25%. So we can multiply same way. So here 225 into 25 will get 225, 25 into 20, 25 into 30, 25 into 35, 25 into 42, and 25 into 4. Right? Variable selling. Right? So the sales revenue kali දාන්න තිබුණා මම හිතුණා right මම මෙතන sales revenue දාන්න right sales revenue selling price එක rupees 400 per unit අර එකම quantity වලින් වැඩි කරලා යන්න තියෙන්නේ 400 into 20, 400 into 30, 400 into 35, 400 into 42, 400 into 40. Sales. කාට හරි ඕනනම් කොහොමද වෙනම වර්කින් කරලා contribution එක කෙලින්ම ගන්නත් පුළුවන් right I took the variable cost manufacturing variable manufacturing cost 225 variable selling cost sales revenue okay then we have fixed cost depreciation of machinery are we taking this depreciation of machinery now we are go ahead with the cash flows here right sales revenue එක කෙලින්ම දීලා තියෙනවා අපිට දැන් variable cost එක වෙනම අරන් තියෙනවා right so depreciation is a non cash flow item let it know amortization of research and development cost research and development amortization is also not a cash flow general research and development cost they amortize right other fixed cost 1200 other fixed cost එක note එකක් තියෙනවා to increase output above 38,000 units, shift work all introduced, and annual fixed manufacturing cost will be raised by 600,000. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ මේ manufacturing cost. ඒක ඇත්තටම මේ මේක manufacturing cost යටතේ තමයි මේ ටික ඔක්කොම. Selling and distribution යටතේ තමයි මේක. right? මේ ඔක්කොම manufacturing. Depreciation, R&D, other fixed costs. Manufacturing fixed cost. Per annum 1,200 to increase output above 38,000 units. Shift working will introduce an annual fixed manufacturing cost increased by 6,000. That means by 600. Again, that's the DNA. It does this year. Our high CR Medvilla, it does not see when the manufacturing exceed 38,000. Right? So, first year 20, second year 30, third year 35. That means first 3 years, fixed manufacturing overhead is 1,200. Okay? You are given fixed manufacturing overhead, fixed manufacturing cost, right? Other fixed cost, right? In manufacturing. So we can have fixed manufacturing cost 1,200 over the first 3 years. You were given up to 35,000 production. It would be 1,200 production. Negative 20,000, revenue out the 30, to many out the 35, 100 out the 42, passing out the 4. Right? Maybe production. Right? Just for your understanding. No need to show that here. So this the fourth and fifth year about 38. So it increased by another 600. So it becomes 1,800. Then selling and distribution, fixed. Note number 2, fixed selling and distribution cost will increase. That at the end 300. Fixed selling and distribution increase by 100 if sales exceed 33,000. And further 100 if sales exceed 38,000. And at 33,000 it is 300. So fixed selling and distribution. Fixed selling and distribution cost. First year 20,000 unit 300. Second year 30,000 unit 300. Right? When it exceeds 33, it will increase by 100. Third year 35. So it should become 400. 30. 300, 300, third year 400. Because when the production exceeds 33, selling and distribution fixed cost increase by 100. And it increased by further 100 when the number of units increased 38. So fourth year 42, fifth year 40. That means fixed selling and distribution should be 500 each. The last two. The accountant has specifically excluded all costs relating to the factory unit in which the new machine will be installed and operated. She explained that this unit is on a short lease which has only 7 years left run by the Sigma, pay 1.5 million per annum rental. There is no prospect of Sigma using this unit until the current project is accepted. Whistler Sigma has been using this unit. Part of it has been sublet to neighbor company for use as a warehouse at monthly rent of 100,000. This arrangement could continue until the lease expires. Then lease agreement already ගහලා තියෙන්නේ. 1.5 million irrelevant. Right? මේකට අවුරුද්දකට ගෙවනවා. හැබැයි මේක අපි ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක ගත්තත් මේක ගෙවනවා. මේක සබ් ලීස් කරලා තියෙනවා. අපි පාවිච්චි කරලා නැහැ. මේක තියෙනවා. Right? spare capacity. දැන්ට මේකේ කොටසක් දීලා තියෙනවා. warehouse එකට monthly rent 100. This arrangement could continue until lease expire. අවුරුදු 7ක් lease එක දෙනවා. මේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක කාලෙම මේ warehouse එක විදිහට දෙන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. If this project goes ahead, unit කියන එක පොඩ්ඩක් misleading. The account has specially excluded all costs related to the factory building කියලා ගන්නවා. Factory building in which new machine to be operated. She explained that this building, the unit can factory building is on the short term lease, 7 years left. There is no prospect of using this building unless the current project is accepted. මේක ගත්තේ නැත්නම් වෙන කරන්න plan එකක් තිබිලා නැහැ. Sigma has been using this building. Part of it has been sublet. This arrangement could continue. If this project goes ahead, Sigma can initially share the building. But the rental will fall to 50,000 per month. එහෙනම් මේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක පටන් ගැනීම නිසා the loss decrease of rental income එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? දැනට 100,000 ගානේ 100,000 per month 100,000 ඒක annual rate. Decrease in annual rent income from the building. Right? මේ building එක factory building එකට පාවිච්චි කරන building එකේ monthly 100,000. That means 1.2 million, 1,200 rent income is earning at the moment. දැන්ට මේගොල්ලෝ 1,500 දීලා rent කරගෙන තියෙනවා. දැන්ට පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. දැන්ට warehouse එකට වෙන company දීලා තියෙනවා. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අවුරුද්දට 1,200 earn rent. When you accept this, You can share it for your project as well as the warehouse, but you have to reduce the monthly rent to 50,000. That means loss of rent is decrease of rent is 50,000. 15 to 12 months, 600,000 out of the loss. Once output exceeds 30,000 units, Sigma will need additional packing and storage space. So rent will reduce to 25,000 per. Right. So in the first year and the second year, the decrease should be 50 into 12. 50 into 12. 600. නැත්නම් 1200 වලින් භාගයනේ. භාගයක් අපිට නැති වෙනවා. මේ opportunity cost එක වෙනස් විදිහට කිව්වා. Right? Decrease in the rent income, opportunity cost of using building. ඒක cash outflow එක. 30 exceed වුණාම 30 වලදී පුළුවන්. 30 exceed වුණාම rent will reduce to 25,000. ඒ කියන්නේ 4න් 3ක්ම අපිට නැති වෙනවා. 75 නැති වෙනවා. ඒ 1.2 million වලින් ඒ කියන්නේ මාසට 100,000 හම්බුන එකේ දැන් අපිට 25,000. So we are losing 75. 75 into 12, 900,000. If output exceeds 38, Sigma will need the whole factory. In a 38 වෙනකන් තමයි 900 වෙන්නේ. 35 වෙලාවෙදි මේක 900 තමයි opportunity cost. We are losing 75,000 monthly rate. 75 into 12 months, 900,000. But in the fourth year, output is 42,000. Fifth year, 40,000. It exceeds 40. So we need the full building. So we are losing entire rent income 100 per month. Into 12 months, 1,200 is the opportunity cost. This is opportunity cost, right? They are using a building at the moment vacant, but you are not rent. So first 2 years you can share it with the first 3 years you can share. First 2 years, still we are receiving 50,000 monthly rent, so we are losing 50,000 per month, 600. Third year, since the production exceeds 30,000, now we are producing 35. So only 25,000 rent now we are receiving, 75,000 losing, 75 into 12 months, 900. When output exceeds 38, we have to use the full capacity of the building. So we are not getting the entire rent income, but we were earning. So that is 100 into 12, 1,200. All these opportunity costs. We will need the whole factory. Given its critical nature, it has been called a consultant to advise Sigma's board of directors with respect of this project. Sigma normally ignore the tax and inflation when considering the capital investment using a discount rate of 12%, right? So I hope now you are working on your individual assignment, right? Next week is the deadline, individual assignment, individual report. Upload the present value, future value table also. So you are given the discounting factor 12%, right? So you can either use the calculator or you can take the table, right? Present value, future value table. Present value table, present value interest factor. Table A3, 12%. Right? Here you find the 12% rates. එහෙනම් අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් net cash flows ටික මෙතන ගන්න පුළුවන්. Consider all the cash flows. Then discounting factor. %. %, discounting factor year 1 වල 1. Year 0 වල 1. Year 1 වල 12%, 0.8929. Present value interest factor එක table එකකින් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Year 2 වල 7972. Year 3 7.18. Year 4 6355. Year 5 5674. So discounted net cash flow. Discounted net cash flow. Multiply the net cash flow by discounting factor. Then finally, you can have the net present value. NPV. Take 7,700 minus 625 plus 1674 plus 1673, right? So we have a small positive net cash flow to 30. Net present value to 30. Excel එක මෙවරනේ. Excel එක කලින් තිබුණා. අර මම ප්‍රොසෙසර් ටේබල් එක දාපු වෙලාව නේද තිබුණේ නේ. Okay, we'll get some kind of digital support, right? So it is 230. When you multiply it, you will get 230, right? So I'll share the screen. So we take short break, and after the break, you get that. Can you just inform to the IT team, right?
So I think the feeling
I okay, right? No, like no, no, you can take. Right, so we'll get a short break and continue after the break.
assignment day would be a follow it.
Presentation individual so group assignment group presentation presentation assignment is not presentation. Presentation and report make a report individual report you can take as a group presentation with the PowerPoint. The individual report that's okay. මොකද දාන්න. මේ කියන වලට තියෙන දැන් 15 තියෙන්නේ. 15 තියෙන එක 22කට දාන්න. 22කට දාලා 22කට දාලා අපි අර කියන සත් දෙක. ඔව්. දෙක. තියෙන දෙක කියලා අද ඒක තමයි අද තුනක් නැදශම තුනක් තියෙනවා. ඔව්. ඒක වෙනස් කරන්න බෑ. ඒක තියාගෙන මේකට දාන්න පුළුවන්. ඕකේ. Thanks. මේකෙන් පස්සේ මුළු එකයි තුනට විතරයි ඉන්නේ. මෙතන ඔක්කොම දීලා තියෙන්නේ මේකට යන එක තමයි කාසික දාලා පස්සේ 1000 ගුණන්. ඒක ඇතුලේ අවුත් පදාන වැඩි වෙනවා. ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ. නෑ අරගෙන ටෙක්නිකල් ස්පීඩ් අරගෙන ඒක ටෙක්නිකල් ස්පීඩ් හරි කියලා දැන් මම දැන් ආයේ නෙට්වර්ක්ස් ලෝනේ ඒක රිඩියුස් කරනවා වීකෙන්ඩ් එකේ පොකේට් එක දානවා අපක් ඒක ඔක්කොත් ඉතින් බලන්න ගියාම කියලා වන්න ඩිලේ එකක් තියෙනවා ඒක නෙට්වර්ක් That's all. Right. So we did first discuss about your presentation. Right. Right. We have 8 groups, right? Number 2, 8 members. Number number 3, we have 7 members. And using the same group that list you were used in financial reporting. Five. Seven. And it will six member group and 4 members. Right. So accordingly, I will allocate topics for the report. I'll be taking some of the topics, right? Outline. So this first group, group number and group right? You are allocating this topic, evaluating alternative approaches for budgeting, right? Alternative approaches for budgeting. So method syllabus again the top-down approach, bottom-up approach, incremental budgeting, zero-based budgeting, periodic budgeting, rolling, activity-based budgeting. Our the right? Medical ඇතුළුව තව alternative approaches use කරන්න පුළුවන්. group linear program. මේක මොවිට ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඉගෙන ගන්න topic එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. statistical type. Linear programming 7 members in the group එක. Right? Presentation on linear programming. Then 6-member group TQS, total quality management. Number 5. Another 5-member group, lean manufacturing. Then here's Six Sigma. The 7-member group, Six Sigma. These are some management accounting techniques. They have to consider some practical application also. Group Python, which is relatively more concept. මේකට ඔයාලට application එක අප්ලිකේෂන් වෙනවා. Other 6-member group business processing engineering. Solution of systems ERP වලට ආපු process එක right මේක ගොඩාක් technical දේවල් නැහැ like හතර දෙනා ඉන්නේ right තියෙනවනේ MRP 1 MRP 2 ERP have to go ahead with these topics evaluating the alternative approaches for budgeting alternative approaches for budgeting මේක තියෙනවා right budgeting කතා කරනවා මම මේ alternative වලට ලොකු එකක් දෙන්නේ නැහැ එතකොට right මේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ assignment එකේ කතා කරනවා right immediately okay budgeting approaches කරනවා කියනවා ඒක තමයි මෙන්න කතා කරන්නේ top down versus bottom up කියන්නේ නැති කිව්වොත් parts the linear programming separate topic ඒතකොට ඒකේ broad topic එක නම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ presentation එකේදී basically instruction එකක් දීලා linear programming වල what is linear programming how it is useful and normally how to construct a linear programming model කියන එකට මම කතා කරලා right එහෙනම් activity එකක් දාලා සාමාන්‍ය activity එකකින් depend කරන constraint එක කොහොමද model එක හදාන්නේ කියන්නේ solution එක අත්‍යවශ්‍යම නැහැ right OR පැත්ත basically concept එක පැහැදිලි කරන්න පුළුවන් with the construction of the model පුළුවන් නම් solution එක කතා කරන්න කමක් නැහැ total quality management මේ වගේ application ගේන්න වෙනවා PhD එකත් එක්ක සමහර application exam right lean manufacturing these are some management accounting tools like strategic management related operation tools Six Sigma Kaizen, business process re-engineering, and evolution of ERP. The systems, MRP, ERP, right. The topic allocation for group presentation. Upload this also to the LMS. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් group presentation එක ගත්තොත් එක්කෙනෙක්ට 4 minutes වගේ approximately තියෙන්නේ right යානි 4ක් වගේ එක්කෙනෙක්ට දෙන්න ඕනේ 4 දෙනාගේ group එකක් නම් එක්කෙනෙක්ට වැඩි 5ක් ගන්න වෙනවා 20 minutes to 30 minutes තමයි සාමාන්‍ය time allocation right? 20 to 30 minutes. අටක් ඉන්න group එකේ විනාඩි 30ක් පුළුවන් යාට පොඩක් දිහට පොඩ වැඩි වෙන්න වෙයි. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් හතක් ඉන්නවනම් 30 minutes, right? හයක් ඉන්නවනම් around 25 minutes, right? 25 30. ඉතින් හතරක් ඉන්න group එකේ දෙනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ විනාඩි 20ක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. right? right? මම මේක දැම්මේ Java extension එක කියනවානේ මෙන්න මේ individual report එකට. ඒක මට දෙන්න පුළුවන් ඉන්නේ ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. එකම දේ ඒ කියන්නේ මේක 22කට කල් දාන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි presentation එක extend වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක 10 week එනවා. right? මේක individual නිසා අපිට individual වැඩ කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. right? So some of you requested because of some of his work as well as some another type of keyboard thing. So I'll make it 20 seconds. But ඊට පස්සේ සත්‍ය presentation එනවා. right? Can't help. දැන් අද තමයි දා හතරේ අට තමයි 10 time තුනේ. right? Maybe it's not good presentation. So I will upload that template. Normally, we have to use the first slide topic, second slide the group list, and it is important that you can't repeat the presentation. That means same presenter. Sometimes one person wants to give the instruction again, right? So these we are allocating marks individually. Should be one after another, right? It's a Marvin band presenters line, right? I need the order of presentation. right? මම slide එකේ දාලා තියෙනවා order of presentation, index name, index number, slide number. දැන් පළවෙනි present කරන කෙනා අපි ගත්තොත් අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් count කරන්නේ slide number 4 වලින්. Because title slide, members and the content slide, right? මේ පළවෙනියෙන් එන කෙනා ඔය slides තුන තප්පර 10කින් විතර දාන්න පුළුවන්, right? topic එක දැම්මා. These are the group members, no need to mention them, right? Then these are our content. Right, you can just show them few seconds. Then you start from the introduction part. Right, it is around mark you got about it. Slide number 4 is the slide. Palaviniya slide up to 4 to 8. Second one 9 to 12. Third one 12 to 15. Right, fourth one 15 to 20. Likewise, one person can present 3-4 slides. Right. Since you are presenting about 4 minutes, don't limit it to one slide. Right. Because you can divide it. That will make it easy. Right? Sambarla like take a body content එකක් වෙනකොට නමුත් ඒක අඩා ගන්න තමන්ට පහසු වෙන විදිහට slide කරන්න. right? එහෙම නැත්නම් එක slide එකක් දාලා සමහරවිට ගොඩාක් දේවල් කියනවා. Because you can't apply the way that we use for a 3-hour, 4-hour lecture. Right? If you are going to make the 4 minutes presentation, you better use the few slides even for one presenter. right? කෙනෙක්ට විනාඩි 4 නම් ඔයා slide 3-4 ගත්තට කමක් නැහැ. ඒක ඔයා කියන දේ සාගාල වක්‍ර diagram එකක්, picture එකක්, table එකක් short form එකෙන් තියෙනවා. Right? You are not reading the slide. You are just presenting it. But something that you are presenting related things should be there. Right? එහෙම නැත්නම් සමහර අය කරන්නේ කෙලින්ම මුළු content එකම එක slide එකේ තියෙනවා. එතකොට එයා ඒ slide එක දාන්න තමයි content එක present කරනවා. Sometimes they are presenting well also. But the problem is when you are just presenting everything in one slide and you're just discussing, right? Even though it is, you will be evaluated based on your part plus the group, right? I mean, look at weight එකක් දෙන්න ඔයා present කරන part එක individual. right? 65ක් විතර individual 25ක් විතර group එකට ගන්න. එතකොට ඉතින් මේ විදිහට යන්නේ නැත්නම් මම ඔකේ බලනවා දැන් ඔක report එකක් ගන්න නැති නිසා slide content එකක් evaluate කරනවා. right? Slide content accuracy, formatting, right? And individually also that take into consideration. Again, we are present in the slides wala වැරදි තියෙනවා නම් format issues තිබෙනවා responsible. Overall, group එකේ having a proper format, right? Use of similar font, right? When you are presenting, it should not be observed for the observable for the audience that it is made by several people, right? Maybe that you may be preparing your own part, but someone should format all the slides, right? And there should be a consistency. සමහර වෙලාවට අපිට පේනවා දැන් තුන්වෙනි ප්‍රසන්ට් එකේ කෙනා කියපු කොටසක් නැවත රිපීට් කරනවා පස්වෙනි එක කෙනා. මොකද එයා දන්නේ නැහැ තුන්වෙනි එක කෙනා මොකද කරන්නේ කියලා. right? Our topic එකේ so you should have a kind of first you have to agree what you are going to present under each area, each presenter. So it should not be repeating, right? In fact, any group එකේ අනිත් අය කරන area එකකට තමන්ට අදහසක් තියෙනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් තුන්වෙනි present කරපු කෙනා කිනපු එකම ආපහු ගවිලා පස්වෙනි present කරනවා සමහර වෙලාවට. That is because you individually take the part, right? So you don't know what others are presenting. It's in advance. As a group, you have to first agree, and finally also as a group, you can go through it, right? You should right? Should have a kind of practice, right? Okay. These are the two assignments, right? I will have a presentation of guideline එකක් දෙන්නේ නැහැ, right? Template එක දාන්න, right? If I were them again, right? You can use similar one. Another thing is since it is small presentation, right? And individually evaluated, don't include any video clips downloaded from the internet. සමහර දැන් group presentation එකක් නම් විනාඩි 30ක් කරනකොට ඔයාලට ඒක ඇතුලේ විනාඩි 3ක් විතර YouTube එකේ එකක් දැම්මට කමක් නැහැ. නමුත් දැන් මේක එක්කෙනෙක්ට විනාඩි 4ක් individually කියනකොට එයාගේ විනාඩි 4 තමයි ආයේ එක විනාඩි 3ක clip එකක් කියොත් යන්නේ. right? ඒකට නම් මා කැල්කියුලේට් කරන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා make sure that it is සමහර දැන් මේ practical application එකට මොකද videos තියෙනවා YouTube. right? ඕගොල්ලන් ඒව බලලා ඔයාගේ content එක හදා ගන්න. So this individual report, I extended the deadline by 1 week. So you have a link there, right, by 23rd. Okay. So we can continue the discussion with
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So for the individual assignment for the automobile companies, is it can you select the foreign company or do we need to rely on Sri Lanka transfer context?
No, that I gave you the sector, no? Yeah. It's okay that you can use certain foreign companies, right? Thing is that you should have the confidence about what you are presenting, right? But is their business operations or sometimes well-known organization? So okay, right? So otherwise, that you have to so you have to give an introduction about the entity, right? So it's okay, no restriction, but don't take some private company located in some other. So then it can be a hypothetical one. Right? It should be some known company, right? They must brand. They must have a
Okay.
Right. So now we are moving to this inflation part. Right. So NPV, now we had some main question activity. How to treat inflation in net present value calculation. Inflation rule is we have to treat inflation consistent. That means if we use the nominal interest rate to discount the nominal cash flow. So that is what we did earlier. The nominal cash flows we will adjust for the inflation. We just take the cash flows as we estimate. We use the nominal discount rate. Nominal discount rate. Otherwise, you may use the real interest rate to discount real cash. Real means cash flow is inflation adjusted. Sometimes the cash flow given inflation adjusted. The discounting factor also should be the inflation rate. Example, the firm forecast cash flows in nominal terms and discount at 15%. But this time you are given the cash flows in real terms. That means you are given, you know the word real in economics term, nominal and real. Real means always inflation rates. Right? Real GDP, nominal GDP, right? So nominal GDP is the normal value. Real means to adjust it for the inflation. Right? Nominal interest rate, real interest rates, right? Inflation rates. So here cash flows are real. And discounting factor is given 15%. That 15% is nominal. And you are given inflation 10%. Inflation 10%. So there are two approaches. One is you can convert these real cash flows into nominal cash. These are inflation adjusted cash flows. That means it is reduced by 10% annual inflation. Right? So C0,000 minus 35,000 is a real. That means it is by reducing 10%. So this real you can convert into nominal 1.1. Right? In other words, your nominal normal cash flow estimated 38,500. Right? You divide it by 1.1 and you get 35,000 real cash. Now you are given the real cash. You adjust it to reverse the inflation. Inflation adjusted one, you get the nominal cash flow 35,000 multiplied by 1.1. The second year is annual inflation 10%. So the 50,000 cash flow is given. This is what is occurred in the 2 year inflation adjusted divided by 1.1 to the power 2. So you multiply 50,000 by 1.1 to the power 2. Output දෙකක් 110 ගාන වැඩි වුණාම the nominal cash flow is 60,500. Third year 30,000. So 1.1 to the power 3, 39,930. Right? දැන් අපිට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපිට දෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ cash flow. දැන් කලින් NPV එක හොයාගත්ත මෙන්න මේ cash. Right? So here what they have done, they have already adjusted them for the inflation given you the real cash. So we reverse the effect and take the nominal cash. Then you take the present value minus 100, here 0. 38,500, discounting factor 15% nominal. Now these are the nominal cash flows. 38.5, 60.5, 39.5 nominal cash flow. The discounting factor is what you can discounting factor can 1 divided by 1 plus r to the power n. Right? They can cash flow divided by 1.15 gatto tara uttare enawa. Deweni එක cash flow divided by 1.15 to the power 2. Cash flow divided by 1.15 to the power 3. එහෙම නැත්නම් discounting factor table එකකින් අරගෙන වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන්. So here you are getting 5,500. So cash flows nominal. The discounted using the nominal interest, nominal discounting factor. Since you are given the real discount factor, we convert that into nominal discount by reversing the inflationary adjustment. Right? Or you could have used the real discount rate instead of nominal discount rate and discount these real cash flows using the real discount rate. Now real cash flows 35. Nominal discount rate 15%. We can convert that 15% into real discount rate. So that we use this simple formula. Real discount rate equal 1 plus nominal discount rate divided by 1 plus inflation rate minus 1. So 1 plus nominal discount rate 0.15. Right? In the 0.15. So 1.15 divided by 1 plus inflation 1.5. The getting 1.0454 minus 1. Real discount rate is 4.54. Let us see it. See American 4.54. 54 real discount. It does decimal level 0.454. Now you discount these cash flows using 1.045. 1.045 to the power 2. This is real discount rate. And these are the real cash flows. Real cash flows discounted by real discount rate. You will end up the same answer. Right? Same answer. But if you use the given real cash flows and discount by 15%, your NPV is wrong. Right? Since the cash flow inflation readjusted with real, then discount rate should be real. If the cash flow nominal, discount rate should be nominal. Okay. So never mix the real cash flows with nominal discount rate and vice versa. Nominal cash flows with real rate. Exam එකේ වලට මේ විදිහට මාර්ක් කරලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. Real cash flows දීලා nominal discount rate දෙන්න. නැත්නම් nominal cash flows දීලා real discount rate දෙන්න. එතකොට real discount rate එක දුන්නොත් මේක දුන්නොත් inflation එක දන්නවනම් මේකට දාලා backward වලට calculate කරන්න පුළුවන් mathematically what is that nominal. Like, have this classroom activity what we discussed. To give you small activity. And you attend. Now it write down the activity. I will upload the revised material to the. You end up with the same answer. There may be sometimes minor difference if you take the round up figure, right? But you can see that we will end up with the same PV value. Almost same. Just take simple Excel sheet. 5-year project, 4-year project. So real cash flows given each year 10,000, 12,000 outflow. Then inflows are given 2,463. Then nominal cash flow. Nominal cash flow කරන්න නම් මේක මෙහෙමමයි. Inflation rate 1.1. So this is multiplied by 1.1. Second year multiplied by 1.1 to the power 2. No, 1.1 to the power 1. Right. Third year cash flow multiplied by 1.1 to the power 3. Fourth year cash flow multiplied by 1.1 to the power 4. Calculate ගන්න පුළුවන්, right? Then discounting factor at 16%. එකත් ඔයාලට ඕනනම් 1 divide by 1.16 ඔය විදිහට යන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මෙතනින් ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. right? මම මේක ගන්නවා 1 divided by 1.16 පළවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ. දෙවෙනි අවුරුද්දේ මේන උත්තරේ බෙදනවා අපව 1.16 වලින්. 1.16 to the power 2 divided by 1.16. Or you just refer to the present value table, right? Then discounted net cash flows, nominal net cash flows. So net present value equal to 1,036. Cash outflow 12 කරා. මුලින්ම 10 දාලා ඊට පස්සේ ගානක් කරලා ඒක 12 කියලා ගත්තා. right? 10 දීපතර බැලුවම ලොකු ගානක් යන නිසා මම 12 කරේ. right? going with the 12. right? දැන් මේක අපිට පුළුවන් අනිත් method එකට you go ahead with the real cash flows. Discounting factor at real discount rate. The real discount rate එක හොයන්නේ 1.16 divided by 1.1. Right? Real discount rate එක හොයන්න නම් ගන්න ඕනේ nominal discount rate එක 1.16 divided by inflation rate 1.1. So 1.05 minus 1. හැබැයි මේක බලන්න ඕනේ මේ 1.05 කියන්නේ 0.45 ආර වගේමයි. එතකොට discounting factor එක මම ගන්නවා 1 divided by 1 plus this. One divided by and then 0.9. Then this divided by 1 plus 1 divided by 1.0545 to the power 2. Now 1 divided by 1 plus 1.0545. Power 4 දක්වා ඉදිරියට. මේකම cash flow ටික එන්නේ. right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ අර decimal දැන් මම මේ කැල් එකේ නැත්නම් මෙතන excel sheet එකක් ගත්තා මේක හරියටම ටැලි වෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ආසන්න වශයෙන් ගත්තා නම් දශම ස්ථාන ප්‍රමාණය යනවා මේ ඉලක්කම 1000ක් කිලෝ ගණක් ගේ right? doesn't matter. Discounting factor එක වෙනස්. right? Discounting factor at real discount rate of 5.4545. 5.45 ගත්තේ 1.16 divided by 1.1. exam එකට නම් මම බලන්න ටිකක් decimals දෙක තුනකින් අතර වෙන එකක් දෙන්න. ඒක සාමාන්‍ය decimal තුනකට වගේ ආවම මොනොත් කොයි විදිහට ගත්තත් උත්තරේ එනවා. right මේක දැන් decimal continue වෙන නිසා තමයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ round up කරොත් වෙනසක් එන්නේ. Right. So then the next one is separating investment decision in financing decision. I explained at the beginning. So the whole project is all equity finance. Again, අපි cost of capital like a business එකේ ගන්න regardless of the finance, treat the cash flows required to be project coming from the shareholder. So basically, you should ignore the financing aspect. Focus exclusively project cash flows, not cash flows associated with the financing risk. So the financing source එක මත cash flows share issue කරනවාද debenture issue කරනවාද loan එකක් ගන්නවද මත වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි අපි ඒව project එකේ cash flows වලට consider කරන්නේ because this is investment decision. Finance decision separate. Right? ඒක optimal capital structure එකට ගැලපෙන විදිහට finance decision එක අරගෙන fund කරලා දෙන්න. That is something else. Right. Detailed NPV example එකක් තියෙනවා. ඇත්තටම මේක just your answer is given. Right. මේක අපි අර හදපු activity එක වගේ එකක්. Right. Project required 12 million investment. Salvage value 7 years, 1.49 million. Manager depreciate capital investment over 6 years with the arbitrary salvage value 0. Again, 2 million guy depreciate karna. Deadline depreciation 2 million. Make a lines 5 to 12 income statement. Totru tika dila තියෙනවා ඇත්තටම මේ revenue, cost of sales, other income, depreciation, before tax profit, tax, profit after tax. Right. Making income of cash item එක depreciation. So depreciation add back කරාම operating cash flow එක විදිහට මේගොල්ලෝ අඳුරගෙන තියෙනවා. Right. Depreciation හැර අනිත් සියල්ලම cash කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. Sales, cost of sales, other cost, tax. Right. ඒ base එකේ මේ figures මෙතන ඉඳලා 2000 වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා. Profit after tax එකට 2000 එකතු වෙලා තියෙනවා. That is the depreciation. Right. Then working capital forecast එක දීලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට working capital end of each year ඉතින් 0 වල නෑ. 1 වල 550,000 289 3,000 4,800 3,500 2,000. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ අතර gap එකකින් ඔයාලට බලන්න පුළුවන් cash flow එක working capital. Initially increase and it's recovering over 3 years. Right? කලින් ගත්තේ අන්තිම අවුරුද්දේ recover වෙනවා කියලා. මේ විදිහට recover වෙගෙන යනවා අන්තිම අවුරුද්දේ 0. Right? The total cash flow එක project එකේ ගන්න පුළුවන්. Year 0 වල initial cash outflow එක 12 million. Operating cash flow year 0 3,160 sold with 15,000. Here operating cash flow 1,560 plus the working capital cash flow 550. Right? It is 2,100. Then operating cash flow plus working capital. So each year you find the net cash flow. Here is the discounting factor එකට එක discount කරලා තියෙනවා. Get the NP. Right. You can go through it, right? So the meter වඩා අපි detail ගානක් හදුවා මේක එකම දෙයක් decision දීලා තියෙනවා decision අපිට අදාළව නැහැ මෙතන. Right? Mutually exclusive project. The most real world investment decisions involve a choice, right? So sometimes some practical problem arise with this investment timing, choice between long run and short run, replacement. Investment timing වලට ගියාම some projects are more valuable if undertaken in the future. So examine the start date for investment and calculate the net future value for each date. Then discount the net value back to the present value. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට තියෙන projects කීපයක්. එකක් අද පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. එකක් අවුරුදු දෙකකින් පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. එකක් අවුරුදු 4කින් පටන් ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right? We have a project to be started today, year 0. Another project to be started year 3. Another project to be started year 5. Each project having the 5-year project period. Then you can calculate the NPV based on that starting point. Then today's project NPV as it is. Then the other project to be started at end of the 3 year. Now we have NPV, we have to take the present value of that again. Got it? To the today. Again, NPV හොයලා ඒක නැවත present value එකට ගේන්න. Then only you can make the comparison. Now here, you are given NPV at different future dates. Then other project එකක් ගත්තොත් 500. අවුරුද්දකට පස්සේ පටන් ගත්තොත් මේ project එක 644 NPV. ඒක අවුරුද්දකට පස්සේ දවසට NPV. අවුරුදු දෙකකට පස්සේ NPV එක 775. Just take, we have a 5-year project. We started it today. You estimate today's outflow and next 5-year inflow, NPV is 5. Same project, if you plan to start after 1 year, now your cash flows vary. Your initial outflow also vary. Future cash flows also vary. Say 5 year, the project period. So you calculate that NPV, that is the NPV at end of year 1, 640. Same project at end of year 3, 775. 894,000, 1,009. ඒ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක පටන් ගන්න දවස අවුරුද්දෙන් අවුරුද්ද ඉස්සරහට දාලා මේ PV එක හොයලා දෙන්න. කලින් අවුරුද්දත් එක බලද්දි මේ nominal value එකකින් බලපුවම 28යි 20යි 15යි 11යි 9යි ඔය විදිහට වෙනස්කම් තියෙනවා. right. දැන් මේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකේ මේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක කවද පටන් ගන්නද බිස්නස් එකට වඩාත්ම worthwhile කියලා decide කරන්න. So you can't compare these 500 with 644 and 644 with 755 because start at different future dates. Then අපිට කියනවා අපේ discount effect එක 10යි නා. මේක 10කට discount කරොත් 644 divided by 1.1 585. Other NPV is 580. NPV after 2 years 775 divided by 1.1 to the power 2. Sixfold. Right? නැත්නම් 10 discount එකක් එකකින් වැඩි කරන්න ඕන 0.909 0.826 0.751 ඔය වැඩි කරගෙන ගියාම මේ NPV වෙනවා අදට. Right? Now make the comparison and it seems that it generates highest profit if we start this project in 4 years from today. Highest costing NPV will get 4 years from today. What the one? May figures make it NPV, right? Net future value කියලා එක අරන් තියෙන මොකද NPV කිව්වහම අර අදටනේ. Right? මේ NPV calculated based on the future date. Right? ඒ නිසා ඒකටත් කියනවා net future value. මොකද net present value එක hand value අදනේ. ये 0 වලට නෙවෙයි. ඒ නිසා මේ මම තේරෙන්න ඔයගලන්ට කිව්වේ NPV on the future date කියලා. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඒකට පාවිච්චි කරන වචනේ තමයි net future value. Net future value ගන්නේ year 1 වල outflow එක and project inflow over the next project period. Right? Discounted to the year 1. Right? ඊට පස්සේ අපිට මේ discount කරන්න ඕනේ appropriate discount factor එකකින් වැඩි. Then you are getting 4th year is the highest. මේක දීලා තියෙන්නේ මේක මත decision එක ගන්න බෑ කියන එක වෙන්න. මේ අවුරුදු දෙක අතර nominal figure එකේ වෙනස් වීම මත බැලුවොත් ඔයාලා පේනවා right දෙවෙනි එක තමයි වැඩිපුරම වැඩි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. right? Absolute figure එකෙන් බෑ කොහොමද? right? මේ growth එක මත ගත්තත් ඒක බෑ. right? හරියට එන්නේ 4th year එකේ project එක පටන් ගන්න එක තමයි best. Give the highest NPV. Okay. Then when you are comparing projects with different life plan, මෙතන ගත්තේ timing එක අවුරුදු 5 project එක අද පටන් ගන්නවද අවුරුද්දෙන් පස්සේ පටන් ගන්නවද අවුරුදු දෙකකින් පටන් ගන්නවද ඒක. සමහර projects තියෙනවා right. project එක අවුරුදු 5න් ඉවර කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. අවුරුදු 5යිදී තව වියදම් කරලා අවුරුදු 10ට යන්නත් පුළුවන්. different life. machine කීපයක් තියෙනවා එක machine එකකට මිලියන 15ක් spend කරනවා. 555 අවුරුදු 3 cash flows. machine B වලට 10 million spend කරනවා 6 cash flow. Now which one is worth? මේක NPV එක හොයලා දීලා තියෙනවා. නෑ මෙතන තියෙන්නේ NPV නෙමෙයි. මෙතන දීලා තියෙන්නේ මේ operating cost එක මේ දීලා තියෙනවා. Cost price revenue දීලා නැහැ. The cash flows from operating two machines. 6% cost of capital machine has higher value of equivalent annual method. Right? The October outflow. May initial cash outflow. It may maintenance cost take right? 15 make minus or minus the minus the 15 machine take a your maintenance cost 5 million, 5 million, 5 million. Machine P purchase 10 million, maintenance cost 6 million. Right? Now here 28.37. 21. Present value of the cost. The meaning compare කරන්න බෑ. So now we got no annual equivalent value. That's equivalent annual cost. Take equivalent annual value. The cost take is annual equivalent cost කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ ආසන්න වශයෙන් දැන් අවුරුදු 3ට යනවා 28.37. Right? 6% interest rate එකට අවුරුදු 3කට ලැබෙන cash වියදම් කරන cash flow වල අද වටිනාකම 28.37. We can identify equivalent annual cost. Equivalent annual cost. ඒක හොයන්නේ present value of the cost divided by the appropriate annuity factor. Annuity factor එක මොකක්ද? ඒ කියන්නේ annuity factor. Right? Annuity cash flow එක එකම සමාන cash flow එක යනවා. දැන් cash flow වෙනස්. 15 5 යන්නේ. Right? අපි හිතනවා right. සමාන cash flow යනවා. Right? මේ total cost එක අවුරුදු 3කට වේදම් වෙන්නේ. මේකේ present value එක 28.37. Right? එතකොට මේක බෙදනවා equivalent annuity factor එකේ. ඒ කියන්නේ 100ට 6 right? 100ට 6 අවුරුදු 3ට. Using present value interest factor annuity. සියයට 6 අවුරුදු personal interest factor එක ඉන්නේ 2.6730. So 0.6730. Right? EDM එකට ගියාම තමයි ඒක පේන්නේ පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. Right? දැන් මේක අරන් තියෙන්නේ මේ 28 28.37 බෙදනවා. annuity factor එකේ 2.673. not 10.61. Right? ඊළඟට debit එකේ cost එක බලපුවාම මේකේ present value එක 26 එන්නේ 21 එන්නේ. එතන 21 6% 2 years වලින් බෙදන්නේ. 6% 2 year වලට එනවා 1.8834 discounting factor එක. divided by 1.8. Eight, 334. $11.45. එතන cost එක පැත්තෙන් බැලුවොත් equivalent cost එක අඩු එක හොඳයි. right? equivalent cost එක අඩු එක හොඳයි. මේක හුඟක් වෙලාවට අපිට අදාළ කරගන්න පුළුවන්. Not a project. Not entire project. You are running a project, you have to replace some machine part or something. එතකොට ඒකේ NPV හොයන්න බෑනේ අපිට ඒකේම cash flow නැහැ. අපිට බලන්න වෙන්නේ cost එක based. right? දැන් අපි දැනට manufacturing plant එකක් කරගෙන යනවා. ඒකට මොනවා හරි equipment part එකක් fit කරන්න. එකක් තමයි 15 million cost යනවා. Annual maintenance cost 5 million ගාන යනවා අවුරුදු 3ක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් 10 million other spend කරොත් 6 million ඊළඟ අවුරුදු දෙකේ මේක use කරන්න. දැන් කොයි machine එක කොයි part එකද මේක replace කරන්නේ. right? මේ cash inflow දැන් project එක යනවා. ඒ වෙලාවට cost එක පැත්තේ annual equivalent cost we have to consider. Annual equivalent cost එක එන්නේ present value of the cost එක බෙදනවා annuity factor එකකින්. annuity factor එක අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් මේ annuity table එකේ 6ට අවුරුදු දෙකට අවුරුදු 3ට. ඒ අදාළ annuity factor එකකින් බෙදනවා. annual equivalent cost එක අඩුයි නම් හොඳයි. right? මේකේ machine A වලට යන එක තමයි worthwhile. right? මේ තියෙන annuity factor එක හොයාගත්ත විදිහ. right? formula එකක් හොයන්න පුළුවන් 1 - 1 plus r to the minus power n divided by r, right? the annuity factor. ඉච්චර අවශ්‍ය නැහැ බලන්න table එකකින් ගන්න පුළුවන්. right? මේ table එකේ present value interest factor annuity table එකේ ටිකක් මේකම අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් replacing old machine එකකට. Life of new machine is not fixed. Point at which we replace reflect the economy. So when to replace? Example, old machine is expected to produce net cash flows 4 million over the 4 million in this year and 4 million in the next year before break. This can replace now with the new machine cost of 15 million that will produce inflow 8 million for 3 years. දැන් එහෙනම් අපිට මෙතන NPV හොයන්න පුළුවන්. replace කරන්න. අපි කලින් ගත්ත annual equivalent cost එක. දැන් machine එකක් තියෙනවා replace කරන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් replace කරොත් 4 million spend කරලා old machine replace will produce annual inflow 4 million each before breaking. Old machine. Old machine expected to produce net cash flows 4 million for next 2 years. එහෙම නැත්නම් අලුත් machine එක 15 million දීලා ගත්තොත් ඒක 8 million ගාන generate වෙනවා. Right? Right. This is old machine. Net cash flow. Here zero වල cash යන්නේ නැහැ. 4,000 අවුරුදු දෙකක් හම්බ වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ නැති වෙලා. Discounting factor. We got the discounting factor. Discounting factor at 10% still less. Still the higher discounting factor. Right, 10% discounting factor. And 10% discounting factor එක නම් 1 divided by 1.1. අපිට දෙනවා 1.1. Discounted net cash flows. NPV. Annual equivalent NPV. Annual equivalent NPV හොයන්න පුළුවන්. බලන්න present value interest factor annuity at present value interest factor annuity 10% 2 years. Present value interest factor annuity 10% 2 years බැලුවොත් මේක අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් present value interest factor annuity 10% 2 years 1.7355 table එකකින් ගන්න පුළුවන් 1.7355 equivalent cost එක එනවා equivalent NPV is divided by 4,000 එනවා. Old machine. මේකම new machine එකට ගියොත් new machine එකේ year 0 වල we have to spend 15 million and it will generate 8,000 per annum inflow. Right? 15,000, 8,000, 8,000 into 3 years. Discounting factor එක අර විදිහමයි. NPV එනවා 13,888. හැබැයි දැන් annual equivalent NPV එක හොයන්න ඕනේ 10% 3 years වලින් බලන්න. annuity factor එක 3 years. අවුරුදු 3කට නෙමෙයි. 3 year annuity factor එක අපිට එනවා 2.4869. 2.4869. Now accordingly, new machine එක ගත්තොත් annual equivalent NPV 5,583. NPV නම් වැඩි වෙන එක හොඳයි. equivalent NPV. කලින් ගත්තේ annual equivalent cost එක maintenance වගේ එක. ඉතින් cost එක අඩු වෙන එක තෝරන්න ඕනේ. Here the NPV, annual equivalent NPV 5,500. So you better replace existing machine with the new machine rather than using the old machine, right? For next 2 years. ආමාන්‍ය NPV එක හොයලා NPV එක බෙදනවා present value interest factor ඒකට අදාළ අවුරුදු ගානට බලන්න ඕනේ interest discount factor එකට අස්සෙන් 10%යි ඒ පළවෙනි එක අවුරුදු 3යි දෙකයි දෙවෙනි එක අවුරුදු 3යි ඒ කියන්නේ මේ වගේ අවුරුදු ගාන වෙනස් වෙනකොට right duration is different so අපිට decision එක ගන්න වෙනවා තියෙන එක මේක තියා ගන්නවද නැත්නම් අලුත් එකට යනවාද වගේ decision. එතනදී NPV හොයලා annual equivalent NPV base කරලා තමයි අපි decision එක ගන්න. මොකද duration වෙනස්. apa yang saya bilang? Iya. Kan? Net cash flow 30. Mega. Ada 7.4. Ami sorry, yes. 4,000 ගානක් එන්නේ. right. එතන මේක රිප්ලේස් කරන එක පාඩුයි. right. මේ ෆෝමියුලා එකේ වෙනසක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. right. 4,895. So divide by annual present value interest factor 10% 3 year 2.486 times 1,968 equivalent NPV. The annual equivalent NPV එක වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා using the old one. Right, old one again, annual credit. So you have decided continue with the old one rather than going for the new one. Right. අපි main topic main topic standard costing and variance. අපි ළඟ තියෙනවා. Right, standard costing and variance. And give you the lunch time, right? So,